Hi there, my name is Grace. Thank you for joining me today on my YouTube channel. Towards the end of last year, bought a lot of books, and I got a lot of books, and I just feel like talking about them today. So this is a little book haul for post-Christmas, New Year's. Don't talk to me about it almost being February, okay? We're not going to talk about that. Okay, so for Christmas, one of the books that I got and that I'm currently reading is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. I left it in my room with the humidifier going, so it's got a little character now. Follows the story of Edmond Dantes as he is wrongfully imprisoned for a crime and then goes to jail and meets a man and basically begins an endeavor of revenge. It's a story of revenge and redemption. And I'm 224 pages in, which is not a lot compared to how much is left, but I'm really, really enjoying it actually. So, got that. Next is a book that I've already read this year. I also got Wuthering Heights. Boring, dry, tomato, tomato, tomato. I didn't like it. But it follows basically these two people that are in love that also like hate each other a little bit and make everybody around them miserable. And then they have children. And it's about their children as well. It's by Emily Bronte. I also got The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich. I have read this as well at this point. Just a great historical novel set in like the 1950s on a reservation and kind of follows two different storylines, but I am a big fan of, this is my second Louise Erdrich, third technically, I guess. I'm a huge fan. I look forward to reading all of her backlist. And this one won the Pulitzer Prize, so that was fun. Next, I'm kind of going through the books that I've already read. I read Disability Visibility, which is a collection of essays edited by Alice Wong, all about disability rights and shining a light on the experiences of disabled people in our society, in our country. Incredibly moving and thoughtful and funny and upsetting, and the whole gamut of emotions are in this book. It covers chronic illness to blindness to mental illness, like everything it's very intersectional, and I just appreciated this so much. This was my first book I finished in the new year, and it was like a 5-star for me, and I got quite a few little tabs in there. So this, I'm going to say it on my wrap up, but I'll say it now. I can't recommend this enough. This was so good. Also, shout out to this bookshelf my mother-in-law got me. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I am recovering from an illness. Next book is a current read. We've got Homegoing by Ya Gyasi. Transcendent Kingdom is on my favorite shelf. I love that book. This follows basically two sisters and their lineage. Stop. Hey, can you not? One marries a British officer. One is sold into slavery, and kind of how their generations, their descendants, just follows their descendants. And it's it's good. Ya Gyasi's a great writer. It's a little hard to read right now, but that just is a given with the content. And I've heard really, really good things about this one. I really anticipate, I am enjoying it already, and I think I'm gonna love the whole experience. I don't really know a whole lot about this one. Oh, the ring light. That's embarrassing. Yes, I do use a ring light. This is When You Get to the Other Side by Mariana Osorio Guma, translated by Cecilia Weddle. So this is cool. I didn't realize this was translated when I put it on my wish list. But wow, this book is gonna be really sad. So basically it follows a brother and a sister that are from Mexico that are trying to migrate to the United States, and they get separated. And I think it's about their coming back together. So I think this will be Really, really good. First published in Mexico, pushes beyond stereotypes to honor not only the dangers immigrants withstand, but also the far-reaching knowledge and roots they carry. When you get to the other side is a powerful, poignant look at the nature of borders, what it means to cross them, and the changes people undergo when they travel between two worlds. Next, Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. Do I have what it takes to read this book? I don't know. I do not know. I am chronically soft. I am medically very tender in my brain. And this is about, I've started this book once before. I want to have read this book. This is a classic. Octavia E. Butler is like a legend of sci-fi. I want to have read this book. It follows a girl. It's like kind of post-apocalyptic. And she's like a super empath. Well, this isn't very long. I'll read this. When global climate change and economic crises lead to social chaos in the early 2020s, that I can't handle. That I cannot handle. California becomes full of dangers, from pervasive water shortage to masses of vagabonds who will do anything to live to see another day. 15-year-old Lauren Olamina lives inside a gated community with her preacher, father, family, and neighbors sheltered from the surrounding anarchy. In a society where any vulnerability is a risk, she suffers from hyper-empathy, a debilitating sensitivity to others' emotions. Precocious and clear-eyed, Lauren must make her voice heard in order to protect her loved ones from the imminent disasters her small community stubbornly ignores. But what begins as a fight for survival soon leads to something much more, the birth of a new faith and a startling vision of human destiny. So obviously, it is prophetic in a sense of these calamities happening in the early 2020s. I think this was written in 1993. So that's like freaky. So I think it's going to be pretty upsetting, and I am afraid, but I'm also excited. Okay, next, a little lighter fare. I got a cute little romance, Me Catalina by Priscilla Oliveras. I just think this is adorable. Ambitious San Antonio singer Catalina gets the chance of a lifetime when she joins superstar heartthrob and fellow mariachi Patricio Galan on his 7-week concert tour. Demanding and arrogant Patricio challenges Kat on every level, as an artist and as a woman. But headstrong Kat is determined to be his match. No matter how seductive Patricio's baritone voice, Kat's eyes are only on the prize: success and making her familia proud. So that sounds fun. I think that'll be a great read. I think that'll be a really good palate cleanse. There are a lot of heavy books on this list, which is good. Heavy books means we're pushing ourselves, we're learning, we're engaging with difficult material. But sometimes you also just want a cute little romance. Okay, another thick... I asked for these, by the way, so it's not like my family was like out to get me. I asked for all of these thick classics and all this stuff. So this is War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, translated by Louise and Aylmer Maud. Cool. It's about war and it's about peace. That's about all I know. I have accumulated such a stack of classics, and I'm gonna say it here now. This is going to be the last haul you see from me for a while, because 2023 is the year of the library, and I have 2 whole shelves on my bookshelf now of unread books. And for me, that's too much. That is too much for me. And so I'm trying to cut down on that. So I'm chipping away at the physical TBR, and if I get the urge to read a book that isn't on my physical TBR, which is often because I am a very mood reader, then I can check it out from the library and read it. So there we go. War and Peace, baby. Next is a different Bronte. We have Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I've read probably the first third of this book, and then I kind of just petered out. So I know this one I feel like is much more loved than Wuthering Heights is, and so I am keen to read it. I've also, with all of these classics, and this is how sick and twisted I am in my head, with all of these classics, I'm like, oh, every time I read a classic, every time I complete a classic, I'm going to treat myself to a Penguin cloth-bound classic of that book. And it is a motivating factor. I can just tell you that right now. That is a strong motivator. I do actually already have this in the Penguin cloth-bound classic, so I'm wondering if that'll make me less likely to read it. But it's about a girl who was kind of mistreated as a child and then comes to live with a family and falls in love with somebody. I don't know. You tell me. Okay, so those are all of my Christmas gifts. Great Christmas haul. Awesome. We're not done. Day after Christmas, I went with my friend Madison to ye old Barnes & Noble, and I kind of went crazy at the half-price hardback sale. There's just something about the fact that, like, half off is such a good deal. And to just, like, be confronted with all of these hardbacks and be like, it would normally be $28. Yeah, I'll pay $14 for it. So, anyway, first book I got was the Odyssey. So I got the Iliad for Christmas, Penguin Clothbound Classics. I got the Iliad for Christmas last year, so I got this year. I have not, is your question? No, I haven't read the Iliad or the Odyssey, but I will one day, and then I'll have the Penguin Clothbound Classics. They're so pretty. Next, I got Solito by Javier Zamora. I'm trying to be like my friend Madison with her unbelievable pronunciation, probably because she's fluent in Spanish and I'm not. Solito is a memoir, I believe, about a memoir as gripping as it is moving. Solito provides an immediate and intimate account not only of a treacherous and near impossible journey, but also of the miraculous kindness and love delivered at the most unexpected moments. Solito is Javier Zamora's story, but is also the story of millions of others who have had no choice but to leave home. So I think this really tackles kind of like, when you get to the other side, themes of migration, immigration, borders, home, family. I think I've heard that this is devastating, but also like really beautiful and hopeful. So I'm very excited about this one. This I wish I could peel that off. Next, I got the 1619 Project, which is like a collaborative work from the New York Times, I believe. Sorry, created by Nicole Hannah-Jones and the New York Times Magazine. And it basically covers, so I live in the United States, and our country was built on stolen land and slave labor. And this covers the slave labor. This is 1619, I believe, is when the first enslaved person from the transatlantic slave trade was brought to North America. And it kind of charts our country's history from that point. So this is going to be upsetting. It's going to be very educational. It's going to be hard to read. And it's going to be really, really valuable. So I think this is going to be really good. It is quite substantial. And I do definitely want to read it this year. So I've heard really, really good things about this. Next, this is another book that I've read already, but I got The Town of Babylon by Alejandro Varela. This is good, by the way, but this isn't a wrap up, so I'm not going to tell you my thoughts on it. This follows Andres as he goes to his hometown for his 20th high school reunion. His dad is sick, and then it's the same time as his high school reunion, and so it's kind of about him returning to this town he grew up in and revisiting old flames, old friends, kind of his former selves, as he was a kid and a teenager. And spoiler alert, it's pretty good. So okay, this next one was a real impulse buy, just a true impulse buy. I just saw it and I was like, I can get a $30 book for $15. I'm going to do that. This is Mythology, Timeless Tales of Gods and Heroes by Edith Hamilton. Now I have a tiny little secondhand edition of this book that I do intend to, oh my God, my leg is asleep. And I do intend to read this book one day, because if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. I'm really into mythology. And so this is the 75th anniversary illustrated edition. And it's just really cool. And, I don't know. I truly, this is how impulsive my purchase was. I didn't even look through it. Didn't even crack it open. I just threw it in my basket. I really wanted to get Mythos by Stephen Fry, but they did not have it. But I got this. Okay, and then the last thing I got from Barnes & Noble was Glory by Violet Bulawayo. This one a prize or was shortlisted for a prize. But Books and Lala really love this book. A lot of folks that I follow on Instagram, Courtney, a lot of other people that I can't think of right now, really loved this book. It's a kind of Animal Farm-esque. Novella Buluwayo's bold new novel follows the fall of the old horse, the long-serving leader of a fictional country, and the drama that follows for a rumbustious nation of animals on the path to true liberation. It's inspired by the unexpected ouster by coup in November 2017 of Robert G. Mugabe, Zimbabwe's president of nearly 4 decades. Glory shows the country's imploding, narrated by a chorus of animal voices that unveil the ruthlessness required to uphold the illusion of absolute power and the imagination and bulletproof optimism to overthrow it completely. So that sounds really interesting to me. So then these 2 books are kind of yes. Okay, so here we go. My goal that I'm setting for myself is I have to read 5 owned books. 5 books that I own on my TBR, or just books that I own. If I do a reread, I guess that would count. 5 books that I own before I purchase a new book. That is pretty strict for me, as somebody that has just bought books like my life depended on it. And so I kind of cheated, and I bought this book after reading 4. I just got it. It was an anticipatory purchase, but I got The Seas by Samantha Hunt. I got this great hardback edition on Thrift Books for like $7. I love this cover, and CJ really loves this book. Iggy has talked about this book. So I think this is going to be a fun spring or summer read probably, which is like, why did I buy it now? The logic is not there. Don't ask me about it. A gothic fairy tale about a love-stricken girl who may be a mermaid, trapped in an alcoholic town beside a deeply haunted sea. Creepy and poetic, subversive and strangely funny. The Seas is a phenomenal piece of literature. Doesn't that sound fun? I just think that sounds fun. So I got that. And then, so I did the feminist book box for 2 months. The first month I got When Women Were Dragons, and I hated it. I DNF'd that. The second month, I got this book coming up, and then I just said, you know what? Not for me. I ended up, because this book is so expensive, this is a $40 book, and I ended up, whatever. I didn't save money. I did not save money because I just don't like all the trinkets that come with it. I should have just done the book box only and not with all the extra stuff, whatever. If you're into book boxes, I would recommend Feminist Book Box just because their mission is super cool. And I've heard that their selection of books is really good. And I do anticipate reading this. Why don't I just tell you what the book is? Jiminy Crispies. Okay, I got Women's Liberation, Feminist Writings That Inspired a Revolution and Still Can by Alex Kate Schulman and Honor Moore. Nonfiction collection of speeches and essays and writings about feminism throughout the years. Starting with The Feminine Mystique, it looks like, by Betty Friedan. That's who wrote that, right? So it's pretty substantial. I think it's going to take a lot of time. I think just because of the fact that it's just like a large collection of writings, it's definitely something that you could do like one essay or one speech or one chunk at a time over a long period of time. And that might be what I end up doing for this. Yeah, so I'm interested. I don't know. At a first glance, I don't know how intersectional it is. Yeah, it's got some, okay, so, I mean, you know, of course there's Gloria Steinem and Betty Friedan, but then you've also got Shirley Chisholm, Angela Davis, Alice Walker. Okay, yeah, Bell Hooks, Audre Lorde. Okay, right on. Yeah, so I am excited. Just to increase my knowledge. Okay, and then, just because I just felt like showing you guys, like I said, I've just been using the library so much since the year started, and it's only been like a month, like 20 days. But the library is magical. The library is magical. And I've already, the library literally has already saved me $200 this year. That's not an exaggeration. The library saved me $200 this year. So I wanted to go through some of the books that I have checked out from the library right now. I'm currently reading The Collected Schizophrenias by Esme Weijun Wang. It's a collection of essays, memoir essays about Esme and her experience having schizophrenia and the context of schizophrenia in the mental health world and in healthcare And I'm not very far in, but I think this is really gonna knock my socks off. I also have Autumn by Ali Smith. I don't know if I'm gonna get to this before I need to turn it back in. Oh, that text is pretty big. Okay, I actually think it might not take me as long as I anticipated. That's like pretty large. This is part of the seasonal quartet, and all I know is it's part of a quartet. It's set in England, and I hate that you can see the ring light. I need to get over that. Boop. And it's supposed to be very beautiful and emotional and tender. Okay, and then At the Inspiration of Benjamin Journal. I don't know his real name. He's just Benjamin Journal to me. I got Outline by Rachel Cusk. It's not the cool cover, but that's fine. I also don't know what this is about. Outline is a novel in 10 conversations. Spare and lucid, it follows a novelist teaching a course in creative writing over an oppressively hot summer in Athens. She leads her students in storytelling exercises. She meets other visiting writers for dinner. She goes swimming in the Ionian Sea with her seatmate from the plane. The people she encounters speak volubly about themselves, their fantasies, anxieties, pet theories, regrets, and longings. And through these disclosures, a portrait of the narrator is drawn by contrast, a portrait of a woman learning to face a great loss. Okay. And then lastly, I got the Tea Dragon Society. These were like available immediately, which was so fun. So it's a collection of I guess they're graphic novels. They're pretty short. But it's about these dragons that brew tea, that like create tea. I don't really know. I know it's really cute and wholesome. And there's 3. And Ali recommended kind of treating all 3 as one, which I'm happy to do. So I'm filming this on a Thursday. This weekend, I'm absolutely just going to devour these. So it's the Tea Dragon Society, the Tea Dragon Festival, and then the Tea Dragon Tapestry. And these are, a charming fairy tale about Greta, an adventurous blacksmith apprentice, and the people she meets as she becomes entwined in the enchanting world of tea dragons. I just think it's going to be cute. Yeah. So that's it. Wow, this was a long video. That's my little book haul. I'd love to know if you are interested in reading any of these books yourself. It was quite a haul. There's quite a selection here. Would love to know if you're keen to read any of these as well. I think it's going to be a great reading year. Started off strong, and I intend to see it through. So I want to thank you for watching this video. I want to thank you for being here. I hope that you are inspired to read yourself, and I hope that the next book you read is just excellent and rocks your world. And I hope you have a great day, and I love you. Bye.